All right, ladies and gentlemen. Topic 3 of the day. Tokyo Mirage Session wants to know, what are your thoughts on the CSGO Lotto debate and how could it possibly affect gaming in general?
I mean, the debate in general, right? What's the debate? Is if they did something wrong, if they did something right, where they all feel, how we feel about them? Mm-hmm. Is that the big debate?
I guess so. I mean, just for those that don't know.
Bring everybody up to speed, Timmy.
Yeah, I'm going to read IGN's article.
Who wrote it?
Who wrote it? You know what? I could tell you, but I'd be lying.
But it's that fake name guy. What's his name again?
Joe Skirmo.
Joe Scrabbles.
That's it.
Joe Scrabbles writes, YouTubers T Martin and Pro Syndicate have been implicated in a scandal surrounding the Counter-Strike global offensive betting scene. YouTube channel H3H3 Productions, and associated with On the Call, has alleged that both T Martin and Pro Syndicate have used their channels to advertise a Counter-Strike betting site, CSGO Lotto, without disclosing that they are the site's president and vice president, respectively. They have 5 million YouTube subscribers across 2 channels, and Pro Syndicate has 9 million. CSGO Lotto, like many Counter-Strike betting sites, lets players wager weapon skins they have won in the game's loot crates. Counter-Strike skins can be valued at thousands of dollars, making this a potentially very lucrative or costly practice. One of Martin's videos shows him winning approximately $13,000 worth of skins. H3H3's video includes clips that show both Martin and Castle using the site. One clip, Martin shows him discussing CSGO Lotto, saying, quote, "We found this new site. I ended up following them on Twitter and stuff, and they hit me up, and they're talking to me about potentially like a skin sponsorship." The video goes on to show another YouTuber, Scarce, reporting that Martin has previously claimed that he originally used CSGO Lotto in the video as a way to decide whether to invest in the company. However, H3H3 shows company and corporation documents that appear to show Martin as the company founder, dated from before that original video was released. Disclosure lines are present on several of Martin's betting videos, but H3H3 points out that the Internet Archive indicates that these were added after On the Call releasing a video alleging Martin's impropriety last week. Failing to disclose that one owns or is being sponsored by a company while promoting it can be seen to violate USA's FTC Act. If the FTC deemed this a breach of contract, both Martin and Castle could be punished. Since H2H's video went live, Martin appears to have made all of his Counter-Strike Global Offensive betting videos private, meaning they cannot currently be viewed. He also put up that video, then took the video down, kind of
the apology video.
His apology video. Now it's gone, and now he's just saying, I'm not talking about this, because obviously I'm sure there's legal stuff going on. What are your gut reactions to this?
I mean, the gut reaction, right, is that it's a shitty thing. Like, this is I always go back to with us, where we left, we founded this business, and we never thought to, like, what's our policy on anything? And then it was on that first Colin Moriarty live, right? We announced it, at 9 a.m., and then we were live at 11. And one of the questions for Colin and I on that day was, like, what's your ethics policy? And we were like, we didn't even look at each other. We're just like, let's just tell you. You know what I mean? When something's sponsored, you'll know. When Square Enix sends us somewhere, you'll know. Like, we have nothing to hide. We want to be as transparent as possible, overly transparent for the most part. So that's what gets me, not even getting into the nitty gritty of this and what it violates and blah, 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 blah. It's the fact of like, hey guys, we found this site. It's totally cool. And they hit us. Like, that's the weird part of like just being weird and lying about that, right? Like, why not just say that you own it, that, hey, we're starting this and we're doing this and this is how it works.
I mean, I think that's what they did is even a step like further than even rationally allowed in any way. Because if they just didn't say that they were sponsored and didn't say that they owned it, that's one thing. But to be like, oh, this just came to like they like actively lied about the whole thing and be like us, saying, oh, we love this game, even, and then not mentioning that it was sponsored and like, totally lying about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I think for us, like we are so transparent with everybody that it's like our people trust us.
Sure.
So it's like the question is with them is like, do their audiences trust them? And that's kind of the big issue is that if abusing the trust, and is that illegal? No, that's not illegal. It's just stupid and fucked up for them to do, because why would your audience stay if you're going to be that type of person?
And that's what we were talking about today on Colin Moriarty Live, right? Is I feel like with this, and then like I always talk about with like season passes or whatever, you get everyone having an opinion, right? I am not well versed on this. I've watched the video today on Colin Moriarty Live. I've heard the news stories. People in our chat were like, it's worse than you guys are making out. Jim says this. I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not trying to make myself an expert on this. And that's the problem, I feel, is that everyone rears up and has an opinion. You know what I mean? Like, Final Fantasy announces X, Y, and Z, and everyone has an opinion, but how many people are going to play that game? We're going to play that game. What is their core? And that's what I was talking about with us. Like, if we fucked up today and then we had to deal with the consequences, everyone on the internet would have an opinion, but I'd want to know what Amy and Zyger and Devin and Lindsay and like Joey and all the people who are consuming the product feel. It's similar like the Fine Bros, right? Like when their whole Reacts thing happened, and they're like, I didn't subscribe to the Fine Bros. I watch everything when it comes up or do what I have to with it. But like, everybody's like so happy to watch the subscribers fall. And it's like, well, how many of those subscribers were actively watching every video and participating in the community, being in the chat and buying merch and wanting to see its success? And that's what I don't know about these guys. Of like, I've never watched their videos. I've heard their names before, but it's not my kind of content, obviously. So it's just like, does their audience expect them to be held to the standard that we are? And like, obviously, I think they should be. And that's obviously the best part about this. On Game Over Greggy this week, we talk about police brutality and all this different stuff and like how talking about it helps, but is that enough anymore? And it's so crazy and stressful right now. As we still write the rules and all these different things about YouTube, I feel like this is a good example of like, okay, cool. And now they're a huge channel, right? Tons and tons of subs. You see that now as that starts to spread out, you see our message spread out. You hope that there's other people out there who are either starting it or maybe they've skated by. Maybe they are doing something similar to this. They go, okay, well, this is how badly it can go. We have to learn from this.
Yeah, I think the drama side of it is the most interesting to me in the sense that like people latch onto that so much, and obviously drama gets clicks and drama does, like, people are interested in that, and all of a sudden we're talking about Counter-Strike Go.
Yeah, Sean Finnegan here, but here we are talking about it.
I know, it's shocking. But it's crazy to me that seeing that on IGN, seeing multiple reports and updates on IGN, because that's just so outside of that's a Kotaku thing for sure.
Sure.
But to see a website that like the IGNs of the world are covering this, that's crazy because you don't see IGN covering like, oh, this YouTube channel just launched a new show.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yet they're covering this random ass sponsorship deal thing. I just think that it's really interesting that like even H3 Productions, the guys that kind of exposed all of this, that's what they do. They expose the drama of YouTube and all this. And they recently got sued for copyright stuff. Do you guys know what I'm talking about here?
No.
They got really hit with a big case, and all the YouTubers kind of like rallied against it. Whether or not they like H3 Productions, like no, you can't just fucking say it's copyright and just because you don't like what he's doing.
Of course.
So Philip DeFranco, Jenna Marbles, like all the top YouTubers and Fine Bros put tons and tons of money into supporting him with a GoFundMe so that he can like fight these guys in court. So him doing this makes sense. Him exposing this and him kind of getting it out there because that's how he makes his livelihood, is
right.
Drama and exposing all this shit. But it's just interesting to me that like legitimate news sites, video game news sites, are covering this in the way that they are.
Well, I mean, it's a story that needs to be told, though, right? I feel like as these rules are written, as YouTubers rise in popularity, like even the fact that now if you're gonna put an ad on, if something's sponsored on Twitter and you put it out, you have to put hashtag ad. Like these are the steps showing you what's happening because it does reflect poorly on IGN. And when we were there, right, of like we publish a review and if we like it or hate it, it doesn't matter if somebody's bought the ad space around there. No, immediately everybody's like, you fuckers knew, it doesn't matter, da, da, da. And it's like we have to sit there and go, no, there's a wall between advertising and editorial. We have no idea what's about to go around the sides of the site. That's not how it works, da, da, da. But then you get to YouTube, you get to us, where it's the complete opposite, where you and I are talking on the phone all the time, or you all the time are talking about brand deals and this, that, and the other. And occasionally I do something where I'm planning like our Comic-Con trip. And so companies are chipping in to send us there if we're hosting their panels and doing all this different stuff. And like, so that immediately has to become that when, okay, cool, like, Square Enix is sending us out or has worked with us so much for the Hitman stuff. If all of a sudden we were going to do a Hitman Let's Play, right? It would like, and I'm talking about like a review discussion, I guess, more than a Let's Play. But if we're going to do it based on from the event we're about to go to or something, or like they're sending us to Ubisoft is a way better example. Thank you very much, Tim.
You're welcome.
We covered Ubisoft's conference right here. We were very critical of it, all these different things. Then we went to the Ubisoft booth, saw a bunch of games, did a bunch of reacts, but 2 of them were sponsored by Ubisoft. So they begin with us saying, this is brought to you by Ubisoft. You know what I mean? And like I stole Colin's line of take it all with a grain of salt, but I really liked that game. And it's not because they paid me. And I talk about like, I fucking thought I didn't know what the hell Wildlands was when they first showed it. And now I've played it and I really think it's awesome. It's not because they paid us. It's because the game's rad. And that's because, again, our audience understands they can trust us with that authenticity. They understand that we'll tell them those deals and that the deal wouldn't influence it one way or the other.
I think the other thing, too, that a lot of the people out there might not know is that, at least as far as I'm concerned, most of the people we deal with, I'd say 99% of the companies we dealt with, clients we dealt with, whether it's game developers or otherwise, they're on our side too because they want
Yeah.
it to be genuine and they want it to be real because they understand that's where the value is. Just talking about a thing and lying about a thing, they could do that. That's what they do.
That was the whole thing.
They talk about their stuff as if it's this flawless thing. With the Ubisoft call in particular, when we were first getting that deal going for E3 where we did the South Park and Ghost Recon, they were talking to us and they're just like, hey, yeah, you guys, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
We're literally just sponsoring you making content talking about the game. And I'm like, cool, great. We wouldn't do it otherwise.
And that's the whole thing. Yeah, we would never take an opportunity where you muzzled us. You know, the example always is Final Fantasy. They hit us up to host that event, and I was like, I don't think we're the right fit for this. And like, no, I'm like, I don't like Final Fantasy. Like, no, that's why we want you. I'm like, what? And you went through it, and there was no, rules on Colin not being able to make jokes about the release date that day. And like Layers of Fear. All right, we're gonna come do these Let's Plays of Layers of Fear that we were hired through our friend's video company, right? And it was like, cool, what if we don't like it? So you don't like it?
I didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, on that Gamescast.
Exactly. It's like, whatever, you have to hide that shit. And like, the other side of that coin is I just got hit up today for some people who want me to host a PAX panel. And it was like, oh, we want you to meet this guy. He has panels. And they hit me up and like, great. And they clearly have no fucking idea who they are because they're like, we want to talk about PC gaming. And I haven't even had a chance to write back, lol, no. You know what I mean? Because like, why would I do that? I can't come out there and be like, hey guys, who wants to hear about what's awesome in PC gaming right now? Because everybody would laugh me out of the room. They know me. That's the whole point.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that we've done a really good job of it. And obviously we are very active in looking at your feedback when it comes to all of the content. But specifically, I am interested in the sponsored content. Like I looked at every comment for those E3 things to see how people feel about it. Are we being transparent in the right way?
Yeah.
I actually really don't like the hashtag ad thing.
Oh, I hate it too, but I mean, it's because it eats up characters. But.
Yeah, well, that is an issue, but I just feel like that also makes it feel more fake.
Yeah.
Than we mean it to be.
Another great example is there's this company that when we did the Cinnamon Toast Crunch selfie spoon thing, right? We got partnered with them, like, oh, we're doing this thing. I'm like, is this work for you? I'm like, that works perfectly. Colin hates selfie sticks. It's a joke for our audience. We'll enjoy the joke.
Yes.
And they've come to me probably with 5 opportunities since then where I'm just like, no. And they came to me recently with an integration for Star Trek Beyond. And I wrote a draft of it and I kept putting the hashtag ad on the end and it just didn't work. It was a legit from the heart statement because it was like something about your crew or whatever, and I was like talking about how much you guys mean to me, but then to put hashtag ad on the end, I was like, this cheapens the entire thing, so no, I can't do it.
It's so weird because had you not had that, it's still clearly sponsored, and I think with tweets it's a little different because it's hard to be clearly sponsored in that way. Yeah. But for me, a lot of people leave the feedback that they think that in the title of the YouTube videos we should have sponsored or something like that. I'm like, no, like that to me makes it feel like dirty. And I think that does taint the content. Having said that, I am a huge proponent of the video starting with this is brought to you by this. So like I'm not trying to trick anybody.
Right.
I just don't want people.
Well, because I understand what you're saying. When it's put on a billboard like that, it's not that we want to hide it from you. We just don't want you to think that the sentiment isn't there. That's my thing with how much I love you guys and I wanted to put up this kind of funny live and then hashtag ad. I was like, that's the wrong message. I can't do that. Yeah. That's not what I want it to be.
I mean, that's the thing is like, it's pretty much saying this is a commercial.
Right.
Granted, I understand that to an extent there is an advertisement in it. It is, but our content is still our content.
More than anything, it's a commercial in a TV show.
Exactly. That's the right way to put it. Yeah. Where it's like, putting the sponsor thing makes it seem like the entire piece of content is the commercial, whereas we always treat it as if it's the commercial break within the content that we're making. Or my favorite thing is when they're completely unrelated. So it's just like Duracell. Those things they're called non-endemic sponsorships and those are easy because it's like no one's going to be upset about us talking about South Park.
Energizer would be
brought to you by Duracell. Yeah, Energizer would be if we were reviewing Duracell batteries, but. Yeah, we've talked about this before, but I just think that it's always good to kind of keep people updated. Not everybody watches everything. So like I want people to know that we think about this stuff constantly. Right. And it's so important to us and our business and who we are. And that transparency will always be there. And it's one of those things where we owe it to you. We owe it to ourselves to do all this stuff. And we're going to, and we're never going to stop. And the amount of opportunities we've turned down or not even really looked into because we know, no, this isn't for us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. There's a whole bunch of them.
But that's why we're who we are and why you're here.
You got anything else for us, Call?
No, not really. I mean, I think with the CSGO thing, I'm just not educated enough on the situation. I mean, I've read and watched videos about it, but I'm just not comfortable enough with what they did. And I just don't understand all of it because it's just not my ecosystem. So, but what I will say is the facts will play out. These people will probably get in trouble for what they did. They probably deserve to get in trouble. It seems like there's a lot of stuff with them kind of preying on like kids with like this kind of stuff, where that's
the 13-year-old stuff.
Yeah, like with the
under 18.
Yeah, like with the betting or whatever, like whatever the fuck's going on. But like I don't know, like I just don't know all the facts. I'm just not comfortable. But it seems like I just have an inherent distrust of anything going on the internet. And that goes for both sides. That goes for the people that were doing this stuff with the betting, and that goes for the people that are upset about it as well. Because people can spin their own narratives in any which way, and you see that shit all the time, and some of it's blown out of proportion, and some of it's, I always like to make fun of the dentist that killed the animal, and everyone's, it's like, this is a little weird, right? Like why is the whole world mad about this? It's like, yeah, the guy did something wrong, but like why, this is what we're up in arms about. So with this particular thing, I'm just like, okay, these guys will get their comeuppance probably. I'm often confused why with these particular situations, people don't just ignore them. And what I mean by that is like the FTC and everyone will straighten the shit out. If people have been wronged legally, then they're going to be straightened out in that way. And that's going to be a really painful way for them to be straightened out. But like giving them thumbs down on their videos and writing mean things and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, that's fine. That's their prerogative. That's what you want to do. But I think the most painful thing for those two guys would be is if they just disappeared into obscurity. No one ever gave a fuck about them ever again. That would be the most painful thing for them. They'd hate it. Sometimes negative attention is better for them than no attention at all. Yeah. And so it's like the no news is good news kind of thing. It's like, there's just certain ways of looking at this particular situation where I'm like, okay, I don't know all the facts. Seems like these guys are kind of shady. Never heard of them in my fucking life. No idea who they are. So don't know them personally. Can't really judge them on that. Don't know this group that outed them. Can't judge it based on that. The internet gets mad about everything, so you can't really judge it based on that. So I'm like, I just have to kind of step away from the situation and know that I don't have enough information to render a verdict on it. Even though I've read a lot about it, I'm just not comfortable doing that. My gut instinct tells me these guys obviously fucked up in a major way. I think that guy's apology video, which he pulled down, was super smug and nonsensical. Him saying like it was a matter of public record. Yes, it was a matter of public record, but you still never said that. A lot of things are a matter of public record.
Of it, really, yeah. Kind of.
Many things are a matter of public record. So, but that doesn't mean that your audience is aware of it. So I like Greg said, like with our own content, the only thing I don't care about them. Like I care about us, and like my own content is, or our own content is on the up and up, and that's that's super important. And I think we all keep each other honest. And I don't think we even need to keep each other honest because I think we're all on the same page on that.
Yeah.
I think once you lose trust, you lose it irredeemably. And so I think that it's really important for us as a company to stay above board, and I think we do that. And as far as these guys are concerned, I hurl your YouTube abuse at them if you want. I mean, if that's what makes you feel better. But I think what would be more effective is they just disappeared, like because they had no relevance anymore. Like that would hurt them more than anything. And so I wish people would play that game a little bit more. Sure. Unsubscribe. Don't give them a view. Don't feed into it. Don't post them about them. Just let them fucking disappear.
That's what so many people fall into in Twitter and social media, where they're mad about something, and so they will retweet it and talk about this person or this thing or this problem over and over again when they aren't. What they're doing isn't going to be the solution. It's just being a way to amplify the message.
Like the vagina picture that's going to make the rounds today.
Oh, that's the one about Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Oh, the sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's an amazingly fucked up thing on.
It's ridiculous.
It's amazing. It's amazing in its own way. It's amazing in its own way based on how insane that is. And if you read that woman's Twitter account, the funny thing you said about it is so she tweeted something yesterday as of we're recording this about, if would anybody be interested if she published a book, and I was going to respond to it and just be like, no one cares. But I deleted it because I'm like, well, like,
you're.
I'm like, I have like what, 25, 35, 50 times more followers than you, more than that. I have, I'm verified. I can attract people to your cause. I'm just putting eyes on this negative thing. It doesn't make any sense. Like I could just walk away. Like, so I'm just not going to give it any oxygen. I don't like, on one hand, I'm drawn as anyone is to drama and reading about it. On the other hand, I just think the drama can be eradicated completely by just like nailing them for what they did wrong, making sure it never happens again, learning from it. Other institutions, other groups learn from it. And then just, you made a mistake and you judge it based on that. And if these guys' mistakes are egregious enough and they sound like they are, then they just don't deserve the views. They don't deserve a YouTube channel with millions of followers. They don't deserve all those kinds of things, and they're eventually going to be removed. And you see that happen. I don't even watch YouTube videos, but I see this happen with YouTubers pretty often. People that just fall apart and everyone feeds into it before they disappear. And I'm like, you could feed into it and it makes you feel good, or you could just let them fucking disappear, and I bet you that hurts them way more. So that's where I come from.
That's the pro Colin Moriarty maneuver.
I mean, it's like it's true, right?
It hurts.
It's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these guys just thrive on attention. Like it's just not. It's not something
Phil DeFranco.
Anyway, I gotta go. I love you guys.
Adios.
Have a good show.
Adios, old
Thank you, audience. We love you.
friend.
Or I love you. I don't know about these guys.
And honestly, real talk, Philip
Colin doesn't love
DeFranco,
shit.
he does a fantastic job always when it comes to this drama shit of presenting the story, giving both sides, and then giving his opinion.
He also gave us a shout out.
Very
What
few
up?
people that I think handle
What up,
things as well as
nation?
him. Boogie is the video game equivalent
Never heard of
to
him.
him. So
Kidding, I
check
love
them
Boogie
both
too.
out, I'm sure. I don't know if he's spoke about this, but I'm sure Phil has. So
Okay.
check that shit out.
I will.